At 5:03 a.m., someone knocked on my door. 3 sharp knocks, urgent, uneven, trembling. When I opened it, my neighbor, Elise, stood there. Her face was pale, like she'd seen her own ghost. She was barefoot, her hair tangled, wearing the same robe she always wore when she forgot to sleep. "Please," she whispered, glancing over her shoulder, "don't go to work today." The words came out cracked, almost like she didn't want to hear them herself. I asked why. She shook her head. "I can't explain why, but you have to trust me." Her eyes darted down the hall. "You'll understand by noon." Then she turned and walked away, fast. The silence she left behind was heavier than her words. I stood there for a full minute, still holding the doorknob, watching her shadow vanish into her apartment. By noon. I should have gone back to bed. I should have ignored her. But I didn't. Instead, I made coffee and stared at the clock as it ticked towards something I couldn't name. The first text came at 6:15 a.m. "You'll see something strange today. Don't react." No name, just a number I didn't recognize. I tried to convince myself it was a prank. But the timing, the way Elise's warning echoed beneath those words, made it feel deliberate. I looked at my phone again, at the picture on my lock screen. Maya, smiling, her head against my shoulder. We'd taken that photo 3 months ago. That same morning, she told me she was going to yoga. She never went. I knew because I'd followed her once, quietly, without planning to. I watched her park 2 blocks away, step into a small gray house I didn't recognize, and leave 2 hours later, lighter. I never asked where she'd been. Some questions you don't ask when you're not ready for the answers. But Elise's words stirred something buried under months of denial. "Don't go to work. You'll understand by noon." I sat at the kitchen table and scrolled through Maya's messages. Nothing unusual, nothing suspicious, but something about that was wrong. Too neat, too clean. Then, at 7:30, I heard the elevator doors open. I looked through the peephole. Maya. She was dressed for work, perfect as ever, calm, radiant. She kissed me softly, like nothing had shifted in the world overnight. "Long night?" she asked. I nodded. Something like that. She smiled and said she'd call me at lunch. She didn't know I was staying home. The hours between 8 and 11 felt elastic, stretching, thinning, about to snap. I made coffee twice and drank neither. The television flickered without sound. Every small noise from the hallway made me glance up. I checked our bank statements. Routine, I told myself. But it wasn't. It was hunting. 2 unfamiliar transactions stood out. A boutique hotel 1 town over. The first from 3 weeks ago. The second, yesterday afternoon. I clicked the details. 2 guests. Same room. Paid in full. My hands didn't shake. Not yet. At 9:45, I went downstairs, pretending to collect a package. Elise's door was slightly open. Inside, the lights were off. I knocked softly. No answer. I pushed the door a little wider. She wasn't there. But on the table sat an envelope, Maya, written in her looping handwriting. Inside, a photograph. Maya. In that same boutique hotel room. Sitting on the bed, laughing. Half-dressed. Beside her, a man I knew. Daniel. My colleague. My friend. We'd worked together for 6 years. He'd asked me to cover his shift yesterday. Said he had a family emergency. I stared at the photo until my vision blurred around the edges. Then I looked at the clock. 11:10. 20 minutes until noon. The text wasn't random. Elise knew. Somehow, she knew. I sat in silence, hearing the hum of the refrigerator, the faint drip from the faucet. My pulse synced with the ticking clock. At 11:28, another text arrived. Look outside. I walked to the window. Maya's car pulled into the lot. Daniel got out from the passenger seat. They didn't see me watching. Daniel leaned in close as they walked toward the building. His hand brushed against hers, small, practiced gestures of people who've done it before. She smiled, the same smile she used to give me. It was then, at that precise moment, that everything slowed. The months of distance, the cold nights, the careful lies about overtime, all rearranged into a single, brutal clarity. By noon, I understood. When they entered the elevator, I took my coat and the envelope. I met them in the hallway as the doors slid open. They froze. Maya's smile collapsed. Daniel tried to speak first, but I didn't let him. I handed her the photograph, no words, just the evidence between us, like a silent verdict. She took it, looked down, and her lips parted, but no sound came out. Daniel looked away, his jaw tight. I could almost hear the excuses forming, the half-truths rehearsing themselves in his throat. I spared him the effort. "You should have been more careful," I said quietly. "The hotel keeps good records." Her eyes darted up, wet, desperate. It wasn't, but she stopped. She saw something in my face that told her the rest of the sentence didn't matter. I turned to Daniel. "Your emergency was expensive." He didn't respond. Couldn't. I walked past them both, my voice low enough that only she could hear. By noon, I finally understood. In the parking lot, I called the office. Calm, professional. "Tate here," I said. "I won't be in today, or any day after. Send my final pay to HR." There was confusion on the other end, questions I didn't answer. Then I forwarded the photograph to the company email list. Subject line, "Transparency Matters." I didn't include names, just the image. Let them recognize the faces themselves. Daniel's career would burn before the end of the day. He'd built his reputation on trust, on quiet morality, the kind of man who preached ethics in every meeting. By noon, he'd be explaining the unexplainable. And Maya? She'd watch the life she built around deceit collapse from the inside. I didn't need to shout, didn't need revenge that drew blood, just truth, laid bare. As I drove away, I saw Elise standing by her window, watching me. She didn't smile, didn't wave, just nodded once, like a silent acknowledgement that the storm had passed. I reached the coast by evening, parked near the cliffs where the wind carried the sea's cold breath through the open window. I didn't feel grief, not in the way people expect. It was quieter, cleaner, like exhaling smoke after years of holding it in. Betrayal doesn't scream. It whispers until it erodes everything soft in you. Elisa's words echoed again. "You'll understand by noon." She hadn't warned me of danger. She'd warned me of truth. I closed my eyes and let the sound of the waves fill the spaces where anger used to live. Some truths don't need closure. They just need distance. When I finally started the engine, I didn't look back at the city or at the life I'd just burned down. Some people lose everything. Others remove what was never real. By noon, I learned the difference. And by dusk, I didn't care anymore. Sometimes the quietest revenge is walking away before the wreckage starts screaming.